my channel. So today we are going to be talking all about brushes, and I have gotten a lot of questions about brushes, and I have been trying to think of the best way to approach this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about, in my opinion, the top 5 brushes that everyone needs, that you basically can do whatever you want, do any look you want, use any product you want, and I'm going to give you my recommendations on some of my favorites, but basically it's going to be more about the shape and type of brush, so you can go out and find out what those brushes are that fit your price point or that you might be more comfortable with. All right, so let's get started. All right, so we're gonna start with face brushes because they're gonna be the easiest. In my opinion, all you really need, I mean, yes, I have the luxury of having, you know, some contour brushes, you know, fun little blush contour brushes, things of that nature, but you really need a powder brush and you need some sort of blush brush, because reason being is I feel that you can basically do everything you want to do with all of those, with those two face brushes. So for me, I like to use something like this. This is one of my favorites. This is by Sephora. This is the number 91 Sephora Collection Pro Brush. And the reason why I like this is because it is super, super, super soft. This has the most amazing hair on it. And I love it because I basically can do any kind of translucent powder or any, you know, even my ambient light powder. I just pop it in here and, you know, go underneath the eye. I also use this to kind of buff out anything that might be kind of harsh. And I think it's just kind of an all-around great brush. Also, another brush I love for doing the same thing, but if you can see, it's a little bit flatter and more tapered right here. And this is the Makeup Forever 102 Straight and Wavy. Now, these are cruelty-free brushes, so these are synthetic. But I love this one because it has tapered sides, like I said, so it fits really nicely when you're trying to set the under eye or do some sort of detailed work, but then can do the same thing that we kind of just talked about with the other brush. And then I do feel you need some sort of type of bronzer, blush brush, things of that nature. Don't mind that this is dirty because this is real. I absolutely use this brush every single day. This is the It Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Wand Ball Powder, number 8. And this brush is it's synthetic, and so it's a vegan, cruelty-free brush, and their bristles at It Cosmetics are some of the most amazing hairs. Very soft. So I use this for blush, bronzer, you name it, that's what I use it for. I also really do love the Nars. This is just really one of those brushes I have in my kit. This is one of those little specialty Nars brushes. I think it's really beautiful for smaller faces, so you can really get in and do a little bit more detailed work. It's not as forgiving as a bigger brush. I am going to throw an extra in there just because if you are a highlight person or like to do a little bit more detailed work, you know, right here on top of the cheeks, you don't necessarily want to use big brushes like this for those things. The Pro Featherweight Blending Brush by Sephora is one of my favorites. It is just a beautiful, soft brush. It allows things to glide really beautifully on. I like to use it to set under the eyes as well. It's just a really, really beautiful brush. I also love, again, these are brushes that I use. I wanted to show you the brushes I actually physically use on myself and clients. This is actually a brush by the brand called Luxe. This is 522 Tapered Highlighting Brush. And I love this brush as well. So it has a very soft tip. These are synthetic hairs. And it has just a very beautiful kind of diffused top to it. So if you can tell the theme here for the face, these brushes kind of have a very similar top to them. They all have kind of a diffused feeling and a diffused, what I mean by diffused is that the top kind of splays out a little bit. So it's not super concentrated, so you don't have to feel like you're not going to know what to do with this brush or it's going to deposit too much color or things of that nature. So just know whenever you're dealing with brushes, the more kind of feathery they are, the more kind of less pigmented the product is going to lay down, the more kind of how do I say, the more kind of ethereal that you know, powder is going to be. It's not going to be as pigmented. You're not going to lay down as much product. So people that are just getting into brushes or new to makeup or just find themselves putting just way too much pigmentation on their face, I always suggest a brush that has a looser end to it. And I'll give you an example of something that I don't recommend. So for example, this is a much denser brush. This is the Makeup Forever 115 Makeup Forever 150, so 150. This is actually like a contour brush. You know, you can get like right in there. Things of that nature. You can actually use it as a highlighting brush. I just really don't recommend a really stiff, dense brush until you are really kind of, you know, very proficient at brushes and need more for your collection. So after you've kind of established the 5 must-have brushes, then you can start adding fun detail brushes like this. Okay, so now in my opinion, most of the bulk of the brushes, since we already have 2 down, we have a blush and a powder that we've already down. The last 3, the bulk of them is on the eyes because you do need a couple different ones so you can do different looks. The one that you guys always comment on, I'm going to try to find it. There's a couple that you guys actually always comment on, and it's this one by Makeup Forever. And again, I just love these brushes because they are cruelty-free and they're very high quality. This is 144. It's part of the Wavy collection, and it is a beautiful brush. I'm going to hold this one up close because it is a smaller brush and I want you to see what I mean. So you see how it's kind of flat, but yet then it's diffused at the top. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to place product, but also be able to blend. So I use this to put on shimmers, to put on base colors right here, to put an all over wash of color. The bigger the brush, the less detail you're going to get. So this is going to be your bigger brush for placing more color down. This also diffused on the end, it runs the same idea runs with these as well. So basically the top is going to be able to be a little bit more diffused, less product is going to be placed, but it is a bigger brush, so just be careful if you have smaller eyelids. But again, this is more for placing those general colors down. I use this almost every single day. I actually have 2 of these brushes. I absolutely feel like everyone needs some sort of blending brush, and this is the MAC 224 brush. MAC makes some great ones. Actually, there's a lot of brands that do. This one's a drugstore brand by a company called Earth Therapeutics, and obviously, so it's a synthetic brush, but there you notice they're all the kind of same. I don't think you have to spend a ton of money on brushes like this because they come in, I mean, everybody does brushes like this. I mean, so Sonia, oh, what's the brand from Target? Is it Sonia Kujak? Sorry, butchered that. But you know what I'm talking about. There's a bunch of brush brands also too at Target and Walmart and your nearest, you know, drugstore. And so I don't think you need to spend a ton of money on that. So that would be for your, oh, just real quick to kind of come back to this. Other brushes that you can compare this to would be, and I love the dual-ended brush from It Cosmetics. This is a dual-ended brush, and I've had it for so long. I don't even think it has the name on it, but it is a dual-sided brush. This one is very similar to this, what we were talking about. It's going to lay color. It also is great for concealer because it is a dual fiber brush. And then you have your little smudger detailer guy over here. He smudges underneath the eye or on top of the eye. I love this because it's basically 2 brushes in one. And okay, so we have a diffuser or a blending brush. And we have, you know, some sort of brush that's going to lay this down. All right, lay your colors down. And then I would go back and forth between using like obviously we all need an angled brush. And this is by Obsessive Compulsive because I do love their brushes. This is a typical standard angled brush. Or using a pencil brush. This one is by MAC, and that's where you can use this to smudge out and things of that nature. But if you don't have an angled brush, you're not going to be able to even get as close as you might possibly want to do, you know, a flick liner, things of that sort. So you do need a detailed brush. So I will hold these brushes up again so you can see what we're talking about here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 essential brushes, in my opinion, that you need as like a starter kit. Yeah, so those are the 5 brushes that I would highly suggest in your starter kit. And you know, if you want to start adding brushes, we can get into some more advanced brush techniques and advanced brushes to use. But say you have all of those top 5 must-have brushes. Say you have those, all right? I would recommend getting something like this. This is the Morphe 501. I don't love the quality of this brush, but you know what? It actually has been holding up, or I should say quality of their brushes. This one's been holding up amazingly, and I dig this for a little bit of highlight. I dig this as an eye blender. This is just a really handy brush. And then I did talk about the little pencil brush. I suggest, again, many brands make this. And then I also love where are you? Okay, so I also love having one more kind of brush that you lay down color with. I use this every day. It's starting to fall apart a little bit, but it's I believe it's the R09 or the R89 by Morphe. I'll try to find it and put it below. But I love this because it is very forgiving with product, but it is also beautiful for laying down you know, shadows, and if you don't use a heavy hand, it can actually be used for slight blending. So having a couple of the same brush but different variations is not a bad idea. You will find your way, and you will find the ones that you truly like and that fit with your makeup style, to be completely honest. I hope that these little tips really helped you guys, and I will also start including all of my brushes that I use in my videos so you guys can reference those as well from here on out. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Lots of love from me to you. Mwah. Bye, you guys.